We have many students after their graduation, undergraduates, after they graduate here, they leave the academic system and go into real life jobs. And many of the students end up in Fisheries and Wildlife Departments or at USGS or at NOAA. And we basically provide them the basics to fulfill the job criteria, basically, with our collections. So we have fish systematics, bird and mammal systematics classes where students learn about the regional biodiversity, the regional fauna.
So the project came about after a conversation I had with Dr. Marshall about ways in which the natural history collections could collaborate with the photography program. And one way that I think photography can be really useful to something like the natural history collections is we can use our skills in photo and in book design to showcase the collection.
The first thing we did, because the class and the project required a number of different chapters to be written for the book. So what we really tried to do was incorporate some of those chapters into the assignments for the class. We built in basically a moment for all the curators to kind of come in, talk with all the students, describe the project. The class visited a couple of the different collections on one day, and then we tried to structure what the book might look like and then break the chapters out as to basically what students were interested in. And then I sort of try to help them make their way through these chapters. And it was weird too, because it was a project in which we sort of had to like roll with it as it happened and work as much as we could between the curators and me and the students and try to come up with some consensus as to what these things would look like.
It was a really wonderful experience to work with these two classes on this book project. It gave an opportunity to really expand on the types of students that we engage with on a regular basis. And I think it really reinforced and was inspirational in that you can see how these museums and the specimens in them really resonate across disciplines. It's something that's really wonderful about natural history collections. They're there to inspire and motivate and engage with people from whatever the background is.
I think actually getting to see the collections is what's enjoyable. Getting to work hands-on with them, getting to see which one's really exciting, what connections they make to the outside world, and like, it's just really exciting to see what OSU has.
I loved seeing the collections through their eyes. When I was reading the students' writing, it was amazing to see their perspectives on things. And during the photography students' work, being able to step out of my normal interactions with the collections, which is normally from a scientific perspective. These are, at their foundation, scientific research objects. But these students found so much beauty in the stacks of folders with the specimens. And I thought that was an amazing thing.
What excites me about this project is the idea of working with departments that you don't normally get to interact with. I don't have a lot of experience with like the science department, so seeing how they interact with their subject was really cool.
My class was designed specifically to collaborate, specifically to work on this course or on this project. The class was filled with photography majors and graphic design majors that were working on photography minors for the most part. And so the first third of the class was focused on photographing objects in the collection, objects that the curators deemed relevant and that they wanted to showcase. The second third of the class was digital design for the books, so book design. And the last third of the class, which has lasted about the last 3 weeks, has been production. So printing, sewing, gluing and binding the books together, covering the books so that they're finished products.
I think what's really cool about a project like this is that it allows the science department and the art department to really come together and work as a team. I think that there needs to be more representation of art and how it can influence science and vice versa. And so I think classes like this really allow for things like that to happen.
Science has the issue of getting people to really care about the important things that are scientific, and the arts has the means of expression a lot of times, but not always the same sorts of things to say, or it doesn't have insight into the scientific processes that go on. So being able to have both a project that's both arts and science at the same time, you're looking at people that have exciting research, but maybe not the form to present it in, and writers who really care about those things and really care that the audience knows what's going on in a particular scientific discovery. And more collaboration usually just means more ways in which the public is going to get excited about these scientific discoveries. And really that's the point of the project too, is to sort of showcase this cool stuff that we've got going on in all these sort of miniature museums that are also archives, that are also research repositories that we don't have in one place.
When looking at this book, I really hope the readers have a sense of discovery that lies at the core of all these collections. And not just a sense of discovery for some of the amazing objects and specimens we have in these collections, but also a sense of discovery about what takes place in these collections, these facilities here on campus, both in terms of the research going on there, but also in terms of the really unique student engagement that we provide.
I really enjoyed being able to honestly just photograph really interesting subjects. That's not something I'm used to doing. You go in and you shoot a bunch of dead fish. That's not something that you normally get to do. And just see parts of Oregon State that I didn't know existed and see collections that we had. So that was pretty exciting.
The point that I really enjoyed the most working on that book was having these overlap with other departments, working with the arts class, working with the writing classes, interacting with the students, having students coming into the collection, especially the art students coming into the collection, and seeing all these critters that we have. And I had the feeling it was kind of a playground for them, and they really absolutely enjoyed it here. And what amazed me the most of all that was how you can really, if you do it in the right way, you can present everything in a really aesthetic and beautiful way, and that's what the students did.
What I want is for the vibrancy, the life of the collections to come through. Many people, when they hear about an herbarium, in their mind, they imagine a dusty place, a dusty, quiet place, but that could not be farther from the truth. The herbarium and the specimens in it are filled with life. It's a very active place, a very busy place filled with discovery, inquiry. The more that specimens are worked with, the more valuable they become. So that's really what I want to come out of these images. It's just that life.
The most enjoyable part of this project will probably be when it's finished, I think, because it'll be nice to see the book all together and really seeing everyone's hard work come to a head point.
I see what I did in this course benefiting me in the future because the pieces of writing for my 2 chapters have been some of the best writing I've ever done, been a really interesting memoir, nonfiction blend that personally worked really well for me. And those are things I'm going to be putting on my portfolio of writings.
For the art department, especially for our students that are hoping to go into fields that deal with this type of imagery or type of commercial work, for them it has this real practical application of having real subject matter that they have to work with, and being able to apply their skills to make images of high enough quality that they can be used professionally.
I think there should be something in every class where students are a little bit, not scared, but concerned. Like there has to be that optimum level of anxiety that is productive anxiety. And I think in a project like this where you've got real stakeholders who are looking at the project and critiquing your work and making sure you get it right, there's a little bit of productive anxiety there, and you kind of have to step up to the plate. And I think that was one of the cooler moments for that project in that class.